It's time for Morton in the Morning on WVBF, a weekly get-together with your friends at Morton Hospital. Coming to you every Wednesday at 11:05 a.m., Morton in the Morning brings you full access to the latest hospital news and health information. Stay in the know about important health and wellness topics, new doctors and services, and upcoming events, and get to know the team at your community hospital. And now, Morton in the Morning.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of Morton in the Morning. I'm your host, Julie, and we are happy to have you joining us for another new Morton in the Morning show. During this last week of April, this year has certainly flown by. Can't believe it's already almost May. We have a lot of exciting things coming up in May, which we will highlight later in the show. So last week, if you listened in, we did an interview with Dr. Nicole McHugh, who is one of our bariatric surgeons here at Morton Hospital. Talked about our program, the medical and surgical weight loss options available, and we also announced an exciting accreditation that we've received for our bariatric surgery program here at Morton Hospital. We are now designated as a Center of Excellence for bariatric surgery, which is very, very exciting. We want to congratulate our team again on that great achievement, and we look forward to continuing to grow our bariatric surgery program. For this week's show, we are going to be focused on talking about Steward Medical Group. So we have a couple of guests from our Steward Medical Group practices here in our community. And for those of you listening, many of you may be Steward Medical Group patients because we have several Steward Medical Group practices right here in our community with offices in Taunton, Raynham, and Middleborough. Steward Medical Group is actually a physician-led specialty care practice organization. And as I mentioned, right here in our Morton market, we have several SMG offices. But across the country, there are more than 1,700 employed providers within Steward Medical Group across 11 states where Steward Healthcare has hospitals and practices. So here in our Morton market, we have primary care and specialty care offices, and we'll be happy to be discussing the offices here today with our two guests. We are also going to be speaking to them about an exciting hiring event that Steward Medical Group is hosting next Friday, May 7th. And they are hiring for a couple different positions across various offices. So if you are interested in learning about a possible new career, you'll definitely want to listen in and see what the availability is for employment in those areas. So let's dive in and welcome our guests for today. So today we're happy to be here with Rachel Kudo, who is a practice manager with Steward Medical Group, as well as Anne-Marie Broder, who is a practice administrator with Steward Medical Group. And I know that you both cover various offices, so thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
So I want to start with how I usually do in our shows is I want to learn a little bit about each of you. So Anne-Marie, would you like to start? Tell us about yourself and the offices that you oversee.
Hi, Julie. Thanks for having us here today to talk about the Steward Medical Group hiring event. A little bit about myself. I've been with Steward Medical Group now since 2011. Prior to that, I had been with Dr. Shalazi in cardiology for numerous years. Mm-hmm. I'm currently the practice administrator. I oversee pain management, psychiatry, cardiology, women's health, in our brand new gastroenterology office.
Wow, okay, so a lot of the specialty offices then.
Yes. Yes.
Well, they're lucky to have you. And how about you, Rachel?
Hi, Julie. Thank you for having us. I'm currently been with Steward Medical Group since 2014. I currently am practice manager for primary care at Northwoods, orthopedics, and specialty care.
Okay, great. And how long did you say you were with us?
Since 2014.
Okay, great. So both sort of long-timers within Steward Medical Group.
Yes.
Do either of you know how long Steward Medical Group has actually been around as one of the branches of Steward?
That's like a trivia question.
It's been a long time.
2012, right? It was 2012.
2012 or 2011.
All right, so I know that you mentioned a few different offices, but how large is Steward Medical Group in our area? Because I know the various Steward hospitals, some hospitals have a lot of Steward Medical Group practices, some not so much, but how does ours compare?
So we currently have 11 specialty practices and 4 primary cares. We span Middleborough, Rainham, and Taunton, essentially the greater Taunton community. We spread pretty far.
Okay. And I know that obviously we work very closely together, Morton Hospital and Steward Medical Group. We're all part of the Steward Network. So talk a little bit about that collaboration and how we work together in caring for patients within the system.
Currently with SMG, we have some hospital-based practices that work closely that Anne-Marie is currently overseeing. We have psych and the new gastro practice, and also cardiology, Morton Surgical, which all in that will ensure the continuity of care for the patient. We always want to deliver the best patient experience for them. We also in the surrounding community have 4 primary care practices that also work very closely with the hospital to ensure, again, that continuity of care.
Absolutely, and I would imagine that having this big network, the primary care providers, they have access to all the specialists right within Steward Medical Group, so that helps as well.
Yeah, they work hand in hand, and you have those. You start to grow those relationships between the hospitalists, the primaries, and the specialty practices, and also in sharing in the EMR. It also ensures that continuity for the patient, no matter where they go, they're receiving that same level of care.
And EMR is electronic medical records, correct?
That is correct.
You're all seeing the same thing, so that's good. You have access to the patient's medical records. It could also help set many of the Steward Medical Group practices or offices are either here at the hospital or in our Thayer building too, so that's pretty convenient. So do patients sometimes have to have follow-up care, lab work or physical therapy or other diagnostic tests when they go to the office, as I'm sure they probably do. So
it does, and especially being in the hospital, it does make it easier on the patient for them to get to where they need to be.
Okay, great. So one of the big reasons why we invited you both here is because Steward Medical Group actually has an upcoming hiring event or career fair, so we definitely want to talk a bit about that. Tell us about the hiring event. I know it's coming up next week.
Yes, we're quite excited about it. We've Anne-Marie, I believe this is our first one we've ever done.
Wow.
So yes, so we are really looking forward to it. We are going to be hosting that on Friday, May 7th. We're planning on holding 2 sessions, a morning session and an afternoon session. Morning, we're going to be doing it from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Afternoon is 3 to 6. We'll be holding that at 2005 Bay Street, the Northwoods Medical Center, at Suite 100.
Okay.
So looking forward to people showing up for that.
Now, you've never had one. Does that mean you need to hire because you're growing? Is that part of it?
We are growing, absolutely. We are looking for some medical assistants and medical secretaries or dual role medical assistant and secretary position.
Okay, all right. Are there any certifications required for those positions?
So for our medical assistants, we do typically focus on registered medical assistants that have graduated from a certified program. However, if that is not the case, there are additional trainings that we can offer to them in order to fulfill that role with us. We would be more than happy to entertain medical secretaries that perhaps haven't worked in the medical field before but have customer service background.
Okay.
Or are, looking for maybe a billing, coding eventually, but are just looking to start out. Or we are also looking for experienced medical personnel that are maybe looking for a new opportunity.
Okay. Well, we're very happy to have you both here because we are excited to learn about those career opportunities from you. We are going to talk a lot more about those opportunities as well as what types of candidates you are looking for to join your practices. But first, we do have to take our first commercial break of today's show. If you are just joining in, we are talking with Anne-Marie Broder and Rachel Kudo from our Steward Medical Group practices about an upcoming hiring event they are having on May 7th. And we look forward to talking more about that after this short break. So stay with us and we will be right back.
We'll be back with more of Morton in the Morning in just a few moments here at WVBF.
Need a primary care provider? Morton Hospital and Steward Medical Group have recently opened 2 new primary care offices. SMG Primary Care at Paramount, located on Paramount Drive in Rainham off of Route 44, includes Dr. Nawar Najjar, Dr. Brett Stecker, Dr. Raquel Volney, and Dr. Ronald Volney. Specializing in internal and family medicine, they are now accepting new patients. To schedule an appointment, call 508-738-6740. And SMG Primary Care at Northwoods is now open and accepting new patients at Northwoods Medical Center on Bay Street with a full team of primary care doctors and mid-level providers and on-site access to a variety of specialists. To book an appointment, call 508-822-2266.
And now back to Morton in the Morning here at WVBF, Hometown Talk Radio.
Good morning and welcome back to the Morton in the Morning show. Thank you so much for joining us today. We have an exciting show lined up for you today. Before we get back to our guests, I do want to remind our listeners how you can contact us here at Morton in the Morning. We have an email address where you can send a message to us at any time if you have any feedback about our shows, if there are any topics you'd like to hear about on future shows, or if you have any questions you'd like us to answer. You can email us at any time at mortoninthemorning@steward.org. It's MORTON in the morning at STEWARD.org, and we would love to hear from you, so please reach out to us at any time. For today's show, we are speaking with a couple of friends from our Steward Medical Group practices, Anne-Marie Broder and Rachel Kudo. We are talking all about Steward Medical Group. Before we took a break, we learned a bit about some of the primary and specialty care practices that we have here in our market within Steward Medical Group. And we also started to talk about a hiring event that Steward Medical Group is hosting next Friday, May 7th. There are 2 sessions, one in the morning, one in the afternoon. And we started to talk about some of the positions that are available. And for the hiring event, you are specifically looking for medical secretaries and medical assistants. So tell me about each of those roles. So for our listeners, if someone's looking for a new career opportunity or, wanting to change things up a bit, tell me about first, what the medical assistant does.
So our medical assistants have a wide array of duties. Mm-hmm. They are essentially the point person for whichever provider they are working for. They do vitals, they go through medication lists, they send information to the provider that comes in either as a result of a test mm-hmm. or perhaps a message from a patient. They are that resource between the provider and the patient at all times.
Okay. And how about the secretaries?
The medical secretaries,
mm-hmm.
they become the face of the practice. They're who you first meet when you walk in.
Okay.
So we love anyone who definitely has a charismatic smile and welcoming disposition.
Okay.
You would definitely do the check-in, demographics, insurance eligibilities, prior authorizations. You make sure the workflow is going through the office appropriately. Your phones, in some cases, depending on which practice you're on, we do have heavy call volumes, mm-hmm. so phone etiquette is needed. What else do we have?
Yeah, I was going to say, what other, what types of candidates are you looking for? I mean, you mentioned, the secretaries being maybe like the face, but obviously it sounds like someone who has some organizational skills, customer service skills. What else are you looking for?
Enthusiastic candidates
mm-hmm.
that are willing to work hard.
Okay.
And can definitely focus on the patient experience. I think all of us understand going through a pandemic that the focus is really on making sure that our patients are well cared for and feel supported.
Absolutely. And I know that throughout the pandemic, the SMG offices have, like you said, gone through a lot of changes. I know one of those was transitioning to doing a lot of telehealth. And I know we've interviewed actually many of the SMG providers so far, and they talked about telehealth, and they actually all were really supportive of it. They thought it was very beneficial to be able to speak to their patients in their natural setting. But obviously, nothing replaces an in-person evaluation when needed. But how was that for you all, throughout the pandemic and not necessarily seeing patients as often? I'm sure you missed having them in the office.
Yes,
we did.
It was definitely new. I think through the pandemic, it was no better time for it to be such a push. It definitely gave the patients a way to still communicate and feel like they had a relationship with people outside of their house, especially their physician. So I think it's been going great with it, and it's going to continue to go with more initiatives coming down with that telehealth type of medicine.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's good that we have, certainly been opening up at least. I know that the SMG offices seem to be very, very busy, especially the ones that we have here at the hospital. We see every day many people coming through the front doors for those services that are growing. So back to the hiring event. So how many SMG employees would you say that you actually have?
Depends on the practice size and how many providers. I would say safely we probably have about 150 employees to support all of our providers here in this market.
All right, well, that's a lot, a pretty big team. Now, what would you say, or what you've heard from some of those staff members, what do they enjoy most about working for Steward Medical Group?
So I think predominantly our employees have a strong desire to help our patients. They love supporting our dedicated providers. And honestly, Steward's competitive benefit package ensures that they and their families are well taken care of too, and that is a huge motivator.
That's great. And what about the both of you, since you've been, you're long timers with Steward Medical Group. What do you enjoy most about working with the network?
For me, it would be the patients. I've always been 100% on the patient care and the patient experience, and delivering that and encouraging others to do so. And delivering that and always remembering that, and those patients could be your parents, your brother, your sister, and that's always been my main drive. Is to deliver that.
Great. Anne-Marie, how about you?
I echo Rachel's feelings as well. In addition to that, I also really enjoy being there to support the practice managers, the office managers, and the staff in general, because we cannot care for our patients without caring for our employees first. And I always am a big supporter of the fact that if you take care of your employees, they will take care of the patients, they will take care of the providers.
Absolutely.
Well said, Ms. Anne-Marie.
And you also work with some pretty nice providers, I have to say.
We sure do.
Some of them are very much loved by our community, very well known. Anne-Marie, I know you mentioned you've been working with Dr. Chalazi for a long time. We just voted him. We do an annual top doc awards at the hospital in honor of Doctor's Day. And the staff voted for him, not surprisingly. I think this was probably his third year in a row, the Most Loved by Our Patients Award, so that was pretty exciting. And then I know we have a couple other SMG providers who have received awards as well. And we mentioned growth, so the new gastroenterology office. Do you want to just talk quickly about that and the doctor who is joining us?
Sure. So we are so fortunate. We have Dr. Alexis Pappas joining us. May 3rd is her first day with SMG. She will also be doing colonoscopies here at the hospital starting May 17th, and we are really looking to fill her schedule. We are also looking to fill her support staff.
Great.
We are looking for a medical assistant in that office currently.
Okay, awesome. So for the hiring event, if someone is interested in participating, what do they need to do?
So I would encourage them to go to either the Eventbrite page and register there, or they can go to the Morton Hospital homepage and register via Eventbrite there as well. There are some links out there on Facebook as well that you can get there, and I believe on LinkedIn as well.
Okay, and so they can just register online. Do they have to bring any information with them to the hiring event, or just basically show up?
Just their current resume would be very much appreciated.
All right. And what about, I know you're doing this hiring event, specifically, but are SMG positions, when you have them available throughout the year, are they posted anywhere else where anyone can just search? Are they separate from the hospital positions that are posted online?
So they're all posted together on jobs.steward.org.
Okay.
And you can search by town, state, and by the position itself. We currently have 7 medical assistants, 3 medical secretaries, and 3 combined medical assistant, medical secretary positions open and available for an application.
Okay, wonderful. So are there any other practices that you're really looking to grow right now and where you have a need for new team members that you want to highlight specifically?
Currently, we have several positions posted at the Northwoods Primary Care.
Okay.
We currently, at that practice, we have several providers. We have Dr. Baidu, Dr. Kajinki, Dr. Shaw, Christy Dadarian, Jennifer LaFave, Danielle Kahn. Will be also joining that practice will be Dr. Rachel Tegu in July. She's going to be family medicine.
Great.
And also Caitlin Kenny, nurse practitioner, who will be coming to us in September. Looking forward to that. So the MA there, quite busy practice.
Okay,
It's
absolutely.
quick moving practice. Great energy there. So there we are looking to hire 2 secretaries and 2 medical assistants for that practice.
Okay.
Also, we have orthopedics
Yep.
over at Northwoods as well with Dr. Naka, Dr. Werger, and Dr. Adams. Looking to hire a medical assistant there and help growing in that practice. And also we have gastro that's also looking
For a medical assistant.
for a medical assistant, which again, that practice is growing and we're looking to make that very successful.
And now the Northwoods offices, so those
Yes.
are new. I know in
Yes.
previous shows we've sort of spoken about that new location, but I think it's exciting because now we have so many offices. We've really built up the Northwoods location where, if you were to walk through about a year ago, there were some practices there, but it seemed kind of empty. But now it's sort of booming because we brought over the primary care,
Yes.
the orthopedics. We also brought over the specialty care office,
Yeah.
right? Do you want to talk about that office a little bit?
Endocrinology and urology, and registered dietitian Margaret Poche. Endocrinology, we have Dr. Kojinian and Dr. Tang, and then Dr. Pang for urology. To speak to Northwoods, it is quite busy now. It's filling up, and also with that is another one-stop type of shop. You have radiology also there for any of your imaging.
Yep.
You have Quest there. We also have PT and
Right.
downstairs. So it's very convenient for the patient as well. When you're going there, you can see your primary, your specialty, also get your labs done, x-ray if needed.
Absolutely.
So we have great parking, and it's right off 495, so it's quite easy to get to from wherever you're coming.
Yeah. Now, how are the teams liking the new location?
Everyone is loving it.
Good.
It is nice. It is very, very nice.
And we just put hopefully the team and maybe the listeners have seen it, but a nice new big sign out there. So if you're driving up a Bay Street, you'll see a brand new sign where we started to add some of those Steward Medical Group practices and phone numbers there, so all the Morton and Steward Medical Group services that are right there in that building. Like you said, very, very convenient.
Yes, we're very excited about it.
patients.
And right across the street from there, we actually also have the John Adams Medical Center is the current ILI clinic that is giving out the COVID vaccines.
Okay, so what is the ILI clinic?
ILI clinic stands for the Influenza-like Clinic. Right now, we're currently administering the COVID vaccine there. We have Moderna and Pfizer.
Okay.
It's been going really well, exciting over there. And like I said again, it's at the John Adams Medical Center off Industrial Park Road.
Okay.
You can call the call center at 877-358-8794. And they can assist you in making an appointment. If for any reason we don't have any availability at that location, that call center will get you at another location that's convenient for you.
Okay, so that's the number to call if you want to try to book a COVID vaccine, correct? Okay, and is that based on the supply that you're getting from the state, or do you have supply all the time? Is it only open certain days?
It depends on which location. So when they call the call center, they will have that information for when the patient calls. They will always try to get the patient closest to their location for convenience. But if in the event that location doesn't have any more doses, they will try to get them to the next closest location.
Okay, and within the Steward network, you mean?
Of course,
so there's
yes.
various vaccine clinics across, and ours, specific for Morton Hospital, is at the John Adams building.
Yes.
Well, that's great information because I know that many people in the community are still trying to book appointments for the COVID-19 vaccine. So it's wonderful to know that we've started to see an increased supply of vaccine doses at our clinic up in the John Adams Medical Building. I do want to share that number that you had mentioned. It is 877-358 8794, and that is the Steward call center for COVID-19 vaccines. It's not just for our location, but if you call the call center, depending on where you live, what clinic is closest to you, and what clinic may have vaccine availability soonest, they will match you up with the closest clinic near you, and hopefully that might be at our Taunton location. So thank you so much for sharing information about that. That's really important. I know we've covered a lot today, but I do have a few more questions for the both of you. I do want to start to talk a little bit about a couple of the other specialty care practices or specialist offices that are still growing and that are providing some new services to the community. So first, we do have to take our break, our second break of the day. So to our listeners, stay with us. We're going to be right back with more information from our Steward Medical Group practices. So stay with us. We'll be right back after the short messages.
We'll be back with more of Morton in the Morning in just a few moments here at WVBF.
When choosing where to go for your health care, quality and safety matters. That's why Morton Hospital is one of the safest choices for you and your loved ones. Morton Hospital was recently awarded an A grade for achieving the highest national standards in patient safety from the Leapfrog Group's Fall 2020 Hospital Safety Grades, recognizing our commitment to protecting our patients from harm and providing safer health care. Learn more at mortonhospital.org.
And now back to Morton in the Morning here at WVBF, Hometown Talk Radio.
Good morning and welcome back to Morton in the Morning. We just hit the halfway point of today's show and already we have covered so much great information. So we are sitting here today with two special guests from our Steward Medical Group practices, Anne-Marie Broder and Rachel Kudo. So we have been talking about some of our SMG offices, the primary and specialty care offices that we have right here in our community, and the offices are in Taunton, Rainham, and Middleborough. We've been talking about the hiring event, Steward Medical Group hiring event coming up on next Friday, May 7th, at which they are looking for medical assistants and medical secretaries. So if you're interested in that, you can find the information online on Eventbrite or on the mortonhospital.org page and check out the events and classes. And we've also started to talk about some of the practices that are growing within Steward Medical Group. So let's talk about some of the other specialty offices because we've been talking a lot about growth, and I know a couple of those offices have been growing over this past year. One of those being our outpatient psychiatry clinic and our psychiatry department. So Anne-Marie, I know that you oversee that practice, that office, which is right here in the hospital, right in our ambulatory services outpatient registration service center. So tell us about the growth that you've been seeing in that office.
So psychiatry has definitely increased, I would say quadruple, especially due to the pandemic.
Sure.
We've gotten a lot of increased referrals. With that, we've also gone from having one psychiatrist to having 3 on our team. We currently have Dr. Batista, who's been here since 2018 or 19, I believe.
Yep.
We added Dr. Moldovan shortly thereafter, and now we have Dr. Morar as well. We also have another nurse practitioner who will be starting in mid-May to help support our bariatric program, which the hospital just received their Certificate of Excellence for. And our psychiatry department is doing everything that we can to support the growth of that program as well. So we are collaborating together to make sure that those patients are cleared for their procedures.
Absolutely. We've done some nice interviews with Dr. Batista in the past. Talked about some of the new programs that he does, like the electroconvulsive therapy program. We call it ECT, and I know that's really taking off here as well. Sounds a little bit scary, but he had provided a really nice description how it's a really safe and sort of a gold standard treatment for people with severe depression. So I just think it's amazing that we have all these services. We've never had such a large psychiatry program, so it's really a benefit to the community. And as you mentioned, we did on the last week's show announce our Bariatric Center of Excellence designation, so we're very, very excited about that as well. And then another one of the SMG services that is right here in the hospital, which many people may be aware of, is our pain clinic. So that's another one of your areas, Anne Marie. So talk about the pain clinic and what's going on there.
So pain management has done really well the last year and a half with growth. Unfortunately, due to the flooding at Norwood, we have Dr. Todorov, who is here with us 50% of his time now, which is much appreciated. And he is actually currently going to the Northwoods orthopedic office as well, one day a month, to hopefully provide care for the patients that live over in that area. Being right off of 495 is super convenient for his previous Norwood patients. Mm-hmm. So we were really hoping to make that easier on them and provide them, it seems like 10 minutes might not be a big deal, but it is for those patients who are traveling if they're in pain. So we were happy to provide that option to them for convenience.
Yeah, and the location is really convenient too at Northwoods, I have to say. I mean, it's right off of 495, so it's super accessible.
Yep, and with that being said, we are also growing that practice as well. We are currently hiring for a physician's assistant, so more to come on that.
Okay, and now I know that you recently gave an update to some of the other practices about some new services that are happening in the pain clinic. And actually, one of the things that I wasn't sure that the community was well aware of is that we do Botox for migraines. Is that correct? Can you talk about some of those that and some of the new services?
Sure. So Dr. Todorov does do Botox injections for migraines, which has been hugely successful. Patients usually come in 3 or 4 times a year to get the Botox injections, and I have to say, I've heard great stories from the patients, great feedback. It's very, very well received. We do the Botox right here at Morton Hospital in the day surgery department. We've also started a few different treatments for spinal stenosis with the mild procedure, and there are just quite a few exciting things going on with the pain clinic. So feel free to give our office a call. It's 508-828-7186, and that would be the number for both coming to Morton and Northwoods. We'll be happy to get you in.
All right, great. And then the number for, since we talked about the psychiatry clinic,
is 508-828-7880.
Great. Well, I am so glad that we had you both, because it sounds like there's so many exciting things happening within the Steward Medical Group network in our area. So I'm glad that you were here to sort of give us an overview about how you're growing and how you're looking to grow your team. So thank you so much for talking about the various offices, talking about the upcoming hiring event. That's really exciting. So if any listeners out there are interested, as Anne Marie mentioned, you can find the information online, and a little bit later I will go over that information again so that everyone is able to register online if you were interested in attending. So Anne Marie, Rachel, thank you so much for joining us, and hopefully we'll have you on again soon.
Thank you for having us, Julie.
Okay, well, thank you again to Anne Marie and Rachel for joining us today and giving us such a great update about what's happening across our Steward Medical Group network in our area, as well as talking about the upcoming hiring event that they are very excited about. So just to recap the information on that hiring event, it is next Friday, May 7th. There are 2 sessions, one from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. and the other from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. The event will be taking place at Northwoods Medical Center, which is 2005 Bay Street, and the actual hiring event will be in Suite 100. So they are specifically looking for medical assistants and medical secretaries, as you heard about from Anne Marie and Rachel. And basically all you need to do is register for the event, show up, and also bring a copy of your resume. So to register for that event, if you would like to attend, learn more about the positions, and apply for one of those, you can find the registration page either on Eventbrite. So if you go to eventbrite.com and if you search for Steward Medical Group hiring event, you should find that there, the May 7th event listed. Or you can go to our hospital website, mortonhospital.org, and at the top of the page, click on Events and Classes, and you'll also see that listed there, and that will take you to the registration page on Eventbrite, so you can enter your information and sign up for whichever session you are able to attend. So we hope to have a great turnout for that event. Again, some great opportunities available within Steward Medical Group, so please check that out if you're interested in a new career opportunity, and they'll be happy to have you and interview you next Friday. So it is time for our final break of today's show. As we typically do when we return from the break, I do want to highlight some additional updates from the hospital, a couple of upcoming events, highlight some more information about a couple of the new doctors that have joined, and then what we have coming up in May. Before we break, just a reminder about how you can contact us here at Morton in the Morning. You can email us at any time at mortoninthemorning@steward.org. It's MORTON in the morning at STEWARD.org, and we check that email regularly throughout the week. So if you have any feedback about any of our shows or suggestions for our future shows, any questions you'd like to ask us, or any questions you want us to answer on air, you can reach out at any time, and we're always happy to hear from our listeners. So we hope you will stay with us for some announcements after our final break of today's show. Stay tuned. We'll be right back after these messages.
We'll be back with more of Morton in the Morning in just a few moments here at WVBF.
Need a primary care provider? Morton Hospital and Steward Medical Group have recently opened 2 new primary care offices. SMG Primary Care at Paramount, located on Paramount Drive in Rainham off of Route 44, includes Dr. Nawar Najjar, Dr. Brett Stecker, Dr. Raquel Volney, and Dr. Ronald Volney. Specializing in internal and family medicine, they are now accepting new patients. To schedule an appointment, call 508-738-6740. And SMG Primary Care at Northwoods is now open and accepting new patients at Northwoods Medical Center on Bay Street with a full team of primary care doctors and mid-level providers and on-site access to a variety of specialists. To book an appointment, call 508-822-2266.
And now back to Morton in the Morning here at WVBF, Hometown Talk Radio.
Good morning and welcome back to the final segment of today's Morton in the Morning show. Today we had a really great show with a couple of special guests from our Steward Medical Group practices who were talking about the various practices in our network, both primary care and specialty care offices. We were talking about the May 7th hiring event that they have coming up, and you can find that and register for that event either on Eventbrite or by going to the Events and Classes page on our mortonhospital.org website. And we were also hearing about some of these specialist offices that are growing in Steward Medical Group. So great show. We hope you enjoyed it. We want to thank our guests again for providing such helpful information and opportunities that they have within their network. So before we end today's show, I want to highlight some announcements from the hospital. So first, a couple of events that we have coming up. One is actually today, but it's not too late to sign up for it. So we are having this afternoon at 3 o'clock. We have a virtual weight loss info session and support group. So that's something we do monthly. Right now we're doing it virtually just to be safe and ensure that everyone can socially distance and participate in the comfort of their own home. So that is today at 3 o'clock. If you want to sign up for that, there's still time. You can call our office at 508-301-2434. That is our Center for Weight Control office. And what you would need to do is speak to someone prior to the start of the event and provide your email address so that they can send you the Zoom link for that meeting, because it is being held via Zoom. Or you can also go online and register through Eventbrite, but it's also on our Morton Hospital Facebook page and our Morton Hospital website. So at that event, you'll hear about the medical and surgical weight loss options available through our Center for Weight Control. And there's also a support group style discussion about combating negative thinking throughout your weight loss journey. So definitely a great event, but if you missed today, no worries. We'll certainly have future info sessions coming up in the coming months. And you can also contact our Center for Weight Control at any time if you're interested in any weight loss consult. And one of our providers would be happy to meet with you and talk about the criteria to see if you are a great candidate for either medical or surgical weight loss options through our center. So that is our info session coming up. Another great event that we are participating in this week is the Associates for Human Services and Taunton Area School to Career, their annual Business Education Spelling Bee. So it's a little bit different this year. Morton Hospital has participated for the last few years. Actually, the first year we participated, we brought home the trophy, which was really exciting. But more importantly, what happens is the winning teams, they are paired with a high school student and a middle school student, and the students of the winning teams actually get scholarships and other prizes. So we were really proud of that, and the same thing this year, although it will be a virtual event. So it's taking place online. Unfortunately, it's not open for public viewing, but we're still happy to be cheering on our Morton team and hoping that we can earn some of those scholarships and prizes for the students that will be paired with our team. So good luck. Go Morton team, and hopefully we will do well tomorrow, and also more importantly just be supporting a really great event and a really great organization, Taunton Area School to Career. So let's now talk about some of our providers. So earlier in the show, Anne Marie mentioned that we are so happy to be welcoming Dr. Alexis Pappas, who is a gastroenterology specialist, to our new SMG practice here in the Thayer Building at Morton Hospital, Suite 2200. So Dr. Pappas is joining us on May 3rd, but she is now accepting appointments for new patients, and you can contact her office at 508-828-7740. Again, that's 508-828-7740. And Dr. Pappas is board certified with a subspecialty of gastroenterology. She went to medical school at Tufts University School of Medicine. She did her residency at the Mount Sinai Hospital in New York. And then she also completed her fellowship at Brown University and Rhode Island Hospital. So we are so happy to have her. Her areas of expertise include hepatology, general GI, and irritable bowel disease. She is accepting patients for all gastroenterology-related conditions and concerns. Again, right here in the Thayer Building at Morton Hospital, starting on May 3rd, 508-828-7740. Another thing that we touched upon earlier in the show is that every year Morton Hospital does an annual Top Doc Awards, and we do that in honor of National Doctors Day, which is every year on March 30th. So this year we were so happy to recognize several doctors, both hospital-based and community-based, that are affiliated with our team. And what happens is we send out a survey, and all of our hospital staff actually vote for their picks in various categories. Now, some of the awards we have presented already. A couple we have yet to present, so we won't give those secrets away. But I did want to highlight and congratulate the winners that we did present the Top Doc Awards to thus far this year, and I think you'll recognize some of these providers. So for our 2021 Physician of the Year, our winner in that category, and we have presented his award to him, was Dr. Imad Bahati, and that was actually his third time voted by our staff as the Physician of the Year for our Top Doc Awards. So congratulations to Dr. Bahati, one of our pulmonology and critical care specialists who also specializes in sleep medicine. He's such an incredible physician leader, part of our team. The next category was Best Team Spirit, and we're not surprised here. Dr. Charlie Thayer, who is one of our long-standing medical staff members and surgeons here at Morton Hospital. Many people refer to him as the heart of Morton Hospital. He was the winner of the Best Team Spirit category. So thank you, Dr. Thayer, for always advocating for our hospital and for our patients. The Best New Physician category. So that is a physician who has started within the last 2 years, and we are so happy that we were able to recognize Dr. Vanessa Lund, who is an orthopedic surgeon specializing in hand and upper extremity surgery. She joined our team just about 2 years ago and has been an incredible addition to our surgical team. So congratulations to Dr. Lund for the Best New Physician category. Our staff favorite category. So staff actually voted for one of our members of our hospitalist team, which are the providers that care for our inpatients. And staff favorite was Dr. Nadia Akhtar, and she is also a repeat winner of that category. So thank you to Dr. Akhtar. And then the last category was most loved by our patients. So earlier we mentioned that one of the winners of that category was Dr. George Chalazi. We actually went with a top 3 for that category because we had such an outpouring of votes. So the other winner in that category is Dr. Alexei Najitsky. He goes by Dr. Alex. He's also another member of our pulmonology team. And staff also voted for him as most loved by our patients. So congrats to all of those providers. You are incredible members of our team, and we are so grateful for the outstanding care that you provide to our patients every day. And we have 2 more Top Doc awards to present over the next couple weeks. So we'll be happy to share the recipients of those awards with you once they're shared with the providers. We certainly don't want to give away that secret. We want them to be surprised with the honors that they are receiving. So lastly, I mentioned earlier that we have lots of exciting things coming up in May. We have a lot of recognition months, actually. So May is Stroke Awareness Month. It's also a Better Sleep Month and Better Hearing and Speech Month. So thank you to our Sleep Center team, to our Stroke Cure team. I know we recently did an interview with Dr. Kramer, who is the chair of our stroke committee. And thank you to our speech and hearing department. We have staff here on site at the hospital, as well as at our speech and hearing center up at Northwoods Medical Center, which has sort of been a theme of our discussion today. Also coming up in May, we have 3 recognition weeks that run one right after the other. So we have National Nurses Week, which actually kicks off next Thursday, May 6th, which is officially National Nurses Day. Then the following week, we have National Hospital Week, so we have a lot of great activities and fun things planned for our staff. You may see our staff out there one day during that week when we are doing our hospital cookout for staff that we usually do during Hospital Week. Of course, that will be socially distanced, masks required, but it's a great way to celebrate our staff for all the hard work that they do throughout the year. And then the week after that is actually National EMS Week. So our EMS partners, they're so important, the life-saving care they provide every day. We are so grateful to them for their ongoing support and partnership in caring for our patients. So we are also looking forward to celebrating our EMS partners during EMS Week, and we have a couple special surprises for them as well. So on today's show, we talked about the Steward Medical Group hiring event that's happening next week, but also coming up later in May, we are having our own Morton Hospital hiring event. So we have several positions that are open at the hospital, and we're actually going to use an upcoming show to talk about all those positions and to talk about our hiring event. So we'll get you that information as soon as we have the dates and times. But at any time, you can also jump on our website to search for careers that are available here at Morton Hospital. You can go to jobs.steward.org, and then you can search by location. So if you were to choose Taunton, you'll see a listing of all of the Morton Hospital positions that are currently available. And we look forward to sharing the information about the specific positions we're looking to hire for at our hiring event later in May. And my understanding is that will be an outdoor picnic style hiring event. So we look forward to sharing that information with you in the coming weeks. So I know that was a lot of information. That pretty much wraps up today's show. So once again, we want to thank our guests from earlier from our Steward Medical Group practices, Anne Marie and Rachel. Thank you for joining us and talking about your practices, how you're growing and welcoming new providers, and about the upcoming hiring event. Again, if you'd like to register for that event and apply for one of the medical assistant or medical secretary positions that are available, you can go to Eventbrite and search the Steward Medical Group hiring event, or go to mortonhospital.org, click on our events and classes page, and you can click on the Eventbrite link from there to register to attend that hiring event. So we want to thank you all so much for listening today. When we join you next week, we will be in the month of May, and we'll look forward to coming to you with another new Morton in the Morning show. In the meantime, if you'd like to reach out to us at any time and provide feedback, questions, or ideas for future shows, just email us at mortoninthemorning@steward.org. That's MORTON in the morning at STEWARD.org. And we look forward to hearing from you and seeing any ideas that you may have. So we hope you enjoyed today's show. Again, check out our website and Facebook page for all of the latest happening at Morton Hospital, including new doctors and upcoming events. Thank you so much for listening, and we want to wish everyone a happy and healthy day from all of us here at Morton Hospital. We will see you next week. When choosing where to go for your health care, quality and safety matters. That's why Morton Hospital is one of the safest choices for you and your loved ones. Morton Hospital was recently awarded an A grade for achieving the highest national standards in patient safety from the Leapfrog Group's Fall 2020 Hospital Safety Grades, recognizing our commitment to protecting our patients from harm and providing safer health care. Learn more at mortonhospital.org.